Adventurous kids explore with education and learning what a wildlife is in the Everglades. I want to explore the Museum of Discovering Science. What plants do butterflies like? I want to know about Key West. Adventurous kids, learning and fun. Adventurous kids!
Today I'm going to tell you about the continents. Continents are the large, solid areas of land that covers the surface of Earth. A continent has water all around it, or around most of it. Islands close to a continent may form part of it. For example, Japan is part of Asia, but the islands of the Pacific Ocean are not part of any continent. Earth has 7 continents in order from largest to smallest. They are Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Antarctica, Europe, and Australia. Some people think of Europe and Asia as a single continent called Eurasia. Some people also think that North America and South America as a single continent called America. Australia is part of a larger area called Oceania or Australasia. It includes many islands in the Pacific Ocean. The positions of the continents are always changing. North America and Europe are moving away from each other at the rate of about 1 inch per year. The continents have different kinds of weather, landscapes, and populations. Most of the continents are also divided into political units called countries. Parts of Antarctica are claimed by several countries, but there are no permanent settlements on the continent. Australia is the only continent that is occupied by a single country. The continent of Asia is the largest continent in size. It has the biggest land area and the world's biggest population, with 4.6 billion people living in Asia. This means most people on our Earth live on the Asian continent. Asia also contains the world's most populous country, China, and the world's largest country, Russia. Asia borders Africa and Europe to the west and the Pacific Ocean to the east. Most languages are spoken in Asia, over 2,300 languages. However, most of these languages are spoken only by small groups of people. The highest mountain in the world is Mount Everest in Asia. The tallest buildings in the world are in Asia. The continent of Africa is the continent with the most countries. There are 54 countries on the African continent. Africa is the second largest continent after Asia by land area and also stands second after Asia in terms of population. About 1.3 billion people live in Africa. Africa is one of the most diverse places on the planet, with a wide variety of terrain, wildlife, and climates. The Africa continent is bounded on the west by the Atlantic Ocean, on the south, on the north by the Mediterranean Sea, on the east by the Red Sea and the Indian Ocean, and on the south by the waters of the Atlantic and Indian Oceans. The Nile River is the longest river in the African continent. The Nile is also the longest river in the world. The continent of North America is the third largest of the 7 continents. The continent is located entirely in the northern hemisphere and the western hemisphere. It is bordered by the Atlantic Ocean to the east and the Pacific Ocean to the west. North America is dominated by its 3 largest countries, Canada, Mexico, and the United States. Central America and the Caribbean are usually considered part of North America. There are 23 countries and 9 dependent territories in North America. North America has the largest number of people who speak English, either as their first language, 231 million people, or as their second language fluently. The continent of South America is the 4th largest continent in size and the 5th largest when we consider population. There are 12 countries in South America. The South American continent is located in the Western Hemisphere and mainly in the Southern Hemisphere. It is bordered by the Atlantic Ocean to the east and the Pacific Ocean to the west. The geography of South America is dominated by the Andes mountain range and the Amazon River, the second longest river in the world. The Amazon rainforest is one of the world's most important natural resources and provides around 6% of the world's oxygen. Spanish is the main language in South American countries. Only in Brazil people speak Portuguese, and in Suriname, formerly a Dutch colony, the official language is still Dutch. Many people speak also English as a second language. The continent of Antarctica is the fifth largest continent of our planet. The continent is also double the size of Australia. Antarctica is the least populated continent of our planet. Antarctica is often called the frozen continent. It means there are no countries on the Antarctica continent. Antarctica is an ice-covered continent surrounded by the Southern Ocean. Almost all of the continent's land is covered by a thick layer of ice. Antarctica is the driest continent of the 7 continents. Antarctica is an icy desert with very little rainfall throughout the year. Antarctica is the windiest place on the Earth, where a wind speed of more than 218 miles per hour have been measured. The continent of Europe is the second smallest continent in size, but the third largest in population. There are 50 countries in Europe, with a total of more than 748 million people living on the continent in 2021. The European continent is located completely in the northern hemisphere and mainly in the eastern hemisphere. Europe borders onto the Arctic Ocean in the north, the Atlantic Ocean in the west, and the Mediterranean Sea in the south. Europe has both the largest and the smallest country in the world. The continent of Australia and Oceania is the smallest continent of the planet and is the second smallest in terms of population. There are a total of 14 countries in Australia and Oceania. It is located to the southeast of Asia and is surrounded by the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. Much of the region's landmass is desert. There are also very lush areas. Australia has some very unique animal life for such a small region. Some examples are the koala, which is not really a bear, but a marsupial, the platypus, and the kangaroo. Australia is also home to the Great Barrier Reef, the largest coral reef in the world, and one of the most complex ecosystems on the planet. Oceania's biggest and most populous country is Sydney. More than 5 million people live in Australia's biggest city. Thank you for watching this episode of Adventurous Kids.
What did you learn today?
Adventurous Kid.
Adventurous Kids.
What was the most interesting fact?
Adventurous Kids.
Adventurous Kids.
Adventurous